Woohoo! Looks like we're live on YouTube. I'm seeing also that we're live on Facebook. So I just want to give our nice social media platforms a chance to let our followers know that we are on here, we're energized, and we are ready to get this program started. So if you are hopping on with us, give us that thumbs up if you can hear me, see us fine. It looks like I have Parker. Hello to you, Parker, and Counselor Scully. Thank you both for hopping on. Oh, great. And Wayne Anderson. It helped that I took a mini break yesterday. So you guys were like, oh, where'd she go? Let's tune in now. So if you're just hopping on, you're not missing out. I was just giving Facebook a chance to alert everybody that we're on here. Good morning again to you, Counselor. And to Wayne Anderson from our board, thank you for hopping on here. And Angela and I know are excited to have this broadcast together. So we are going to go ahead and kick this off. For those of you that are hopping on here that don't know who I am, by now, that's probably a good thing, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it. I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. So please be sure that you're following the page, that you're liking us to get those timely alerts when we post content or go live at any point in time. We are on almost all social media platforms. I refuse to go on TikTok, but I've been, creeping on that to see if it's something we can use. We're on Instagram and YouTube at Westy Chamber. We are also on Twitter and here on Facebook, of course, and have our website, which has a wealth of information in our resource hub that's linked for you in the comments and on the screen, westminsterchamber.biz/COVID-19-update. Please be sure that you're checking that as we continue to update that, especially with content that we receive timely. So today's broadcast is starting to take a spin. We're transitioning from, we had the reaction to COVID, trying to equip our businesses to understand and how to adapt and manage. Then it was the questions around reopening. Do I reopen? What's the legal implication of that? What does that look like for my employees? Trying as best as we can to address those questions for you. We geared those broadcasts toward that. We're in a position now where we really want to increase that consumer confidence and let people know, hey, we're around, our businesses are open. Now that we're open for business, here's some of our success or some of what we've done. So to be able to emphasize at least one success story, but also share what they're doing and how we're partnering together, I've been able to have Executive Director for the North Metro Small Business Development Center, or the SBDC, Angela Atkinson, hop on with us. Angela has a story that she's willing to share with us from a local business who you all are probably already familiar with, but then she will be taking up questions and answers. So if you have a question or comment, please be sure that you type it into the comment section of this broadcast. We'll be sure to get to your question or comment. If for some reason we don't have an answer, we'll come back to you on it as well. I know we have our board chairman, Brian Dice, that's hopped on. Also looking forward to hearing about success stories and local businesses. Good morning to you as well, Brian Dice. Without further ado, I told you it was housekeeping and you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is regurgitated information. I will mute myself now, Angela. The floor is yours, and then we will come out to banter back and forth together here in a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you, Juliette. And I really appreciate the opportunity to hop on and share a success story and also a little bit about what the SBDCs do. If you're not familiar with the Small Business Development Center, we are located at Front Range Community College in Westminster. That's our host institution. We had open offices there. We are working virtually now, pretty much exclusively. So the SBDCs are grant funded from the SBA to provide. We're actually a nonprofit, and we provide free one-to-one coaching and consulting to small businesses. We also offer low cost and free workshops. And now we as an institution have had to do a super quick pivot to exclusively moving to webinars. So there's nothing like this crisis accelerating our learning curve as we are supporting small businesses in their own learning curve and how to adapt to, what's of course unprecedented times. So I think it's great that you guys are actually shifting the sort of the motif over to now we're reopen. We've kind of weathered a lot of the external challenges, and we're witnessing that too. And the businesses that are coming to us sort of survived some of the trauma of what do I do now, trying to understand all of the different tools that the SBA had to offer, the PPP and the EIDL loan. And we were the place to go to help folks with navigating that process with the help of chambers and economic development agencies around Adams County. And so we're experiencing a wave of requests for, okay, how do I reopen? How do I reopen safely? Which is a whole public health question, but more specific to us, how can we adjust the business model as a small business to adapt to an environment that's likely going to continue changing? How can we become more nimble? Are our processes relevant? How do I bring back employees that maybe I laid off temporarily? So the nature of our work has sort of paralleled the wave that you were describing. So the time is really great for us to be having this conversation. We've seen a lot of different responses to this change. A lot of people have really dug deep into their creative well and made adjustments to their business model. And our consultants have been on hand, like Wayne Anderson, to help with some of that supportive, honestly, it's brainstorming on how do I take my existing services and products and adapt those to offering curbside delivery, et cetera. So I'm really excited to be able to share with you a success story that many of you are familiar with. It's Zoe's Coffee, which is at the corner of 112th and Federal, and it's owned by Judy and Vaughn Pepper. And they have been with the SBDC for a really long time. So starting their custom, really very personalized coffee shop from, opening and what kind of structure do we want to be, all the way through today, where they have, been challenged with how do I continue to serve my audience safely, in a way that is expedient and efficient for the customers. And it's really, I just spoke with Judy earlier this morning because I know that they were actually navigating the PPP loan process. They weren't sure if they were, kind of what their employment situation was going to be. So we helped them through that process. But they're actually, they've weathered the storm so far pretty well. They have been able to maintain their employee count. I think if I were to think about one thing that really equipped them well, and was that they had a really strong and loyal customer following going into this. And one story that she told me is that, and they moved online, they were able to bring coffee out to the cars and do curbside delivery. But, one thing that she did was she said with every online order, phone-in order, they would write a thank you note, like a custom thank you note that was showing appreciation for their customer base. And I think it was that general ethos of attention and appreciation for customers that's really, really helped them weather the storm.
Yeah, I think that's great. And, one of the things, I'm glad you mentioned the custom note card. We have a couple of members that I noticed had actually done that FUS 78 and really just personalizing the idea behind it. And I'm familiar with Zoe's. I didn't know you were going to be giving them as the example, but I know that they have, they have got the contactless type of payment. So whenever you're going there, you're not handing your card, you're putting it into the machine that they have. I know that they've staggered a few of their seating as well. They've got some that is now outdoors, and in addition to the seating that's inside. But then the pickup option is also available, so people can pick up and pull up to the actual coffee place. They can sit outside. They have the option of being in there. As far as I know, her hours have not changed as well. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah. I didn't confirm that. And one other point that we can generalize to many of our client base is it's really as we kicked this off talking about the acceleration of looking at technology, we've all had to really ramp up either our Zoom call facility and stamina, or many businesses, maybe they had on the back burner that they were going to dig into social media and that whole, just learning curve. And one thing Zoe's did, as well as a number of our other businesses, is they've had to front burner their digital marketing, their website development, email marketing campaigns, sales funnels. And for Zoe's, it was really looking at, I need to have a stronger Facebook business page presence. How do I do that? Right? So, it's really forced all of us, I think, to become learners again and revisit old strategies that just may not be appropriate, may not fit what it means to be a small business in today's environment.
Absolutely. And we've got several people that hopped on. Hello, Emilio and Crystal. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Hope you're well. And to former Mayor Pro Tem Alberto Garcia. Lauren, thank you for supporting local. And yes, we agree. Coffees is great. And you'll be there this afternoon so you can see some of those changes, observe those as you're experiencing it as a customer. So we're going to go ahead and transition. Thank you for the example of a success story. For those of you that have hopped on, we initially talked about how we're transitioning from the phases of opening to really the mindset that our businesses are now open up. If you are a business that's in the community and we're not already aware that we launched our mini grants as a chamber, please be sure that you find the link in the comment section. That's it's listed on the Adams County page. It's actually a partnership between the chamber and Adams County. If you're a business that's in Westminster, you're likely eligible to apply. The great thing about it is that the 3 types of grants that are included in this cover a lot of what Angela was sharing. So, she mentioned that Judy had those, she had email marketing, she had the contactless option, she had the automated social platforms that they use and various components like that. Well, that qualifies likely in the technology grant that's available. You can also qualify for business operations. So again, going back to our example of Zoe's, we touched so that they have seating out a little bit outside, they have some inside, they've separated things out. That can all qualify into the business operations of up to $2,500. And then the last, which is the $1,000 grant for the compliance. So if you're a business that's tuned in and you haven't already taken the time, this is the plug that I have to make for you to consider those grants, because they really will help you be that next success story so that we can feature it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start asking kind of a little bit more broader questions. I know you mentioned your SBDC consultants. We have Wayne that's here with us. My vice chair, Peter Brissett, as well, is also plugged into you all. Just so you know, all of our board, it has their hands in a lot of things in the community for a reason. So, so I'm glad that we share them and their expertise. On that end, so you all have also had to shift your work, just similar to what we've done. We kind of put a pause on regular programmings and events and really added on to what we were already doing in terms of advocacy and economic efforts. So with that being said, what is the SBDC? I've gleaned a little bit from Glenn the other day, but are there a few programs that might be coming out through the SBDC to support COVID response? Are there existing things that are kind of newer that you all have taken on that will likely keep even after things kind of find that new normal?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. And actually, Peter is collaborating with us. He's one of our consultants, our digital marketing experts. And in partnership with the City of Westminster Economic Development, we're in the planning stages of starting to launch quarterly digital marketing workshops for Westminster businesses. I mean, for any business that in Adams County, but focusing on the needs specifically of the City of Westminster. So, it's a broken record here, but if you're not digitally focused or having awareness, it's really going to be challenging for many small businesses to really thrive in the future. So in identifying that and knowing that digital marketing is a broad umbrella, right, for social media, website, Google, paid ads, for example, our thought was to break it into bite-sized pieces, but really drill down in a way that people can take away some tangible strategies and actions, whether it's just a commit to really getting more hits. I'm gonna plug in Google Analytics so that I know how many hits I'm getting on my website. So Peter's helping us with crafting that program in partnership with the City of Westminster. So that's one program we're really excited about. And we're also involved in we're about ready to launch a series of programs for childcare providers, which is an interesting, you don't necessarily think of that as a business, as a small business per se necessarily, but that industry niche really took a hit with the ratios. And if you think about childcare as it relates to economic development, I mean, it's like this. So if you don't have quality childcare, it's really difficult for you to show up at work and your business. So we're launching a series of workshops to help equip childcare providers with the business skills that they need to really support their business. So that's a little bit more of a non-traditional role that the SBDCs are playing, but of great concern to municipalities and in the county, any public public policy official.
And as far as, so I know we started this broadcast by explaining a little bit about the SBDC network and really their funding mechanism through grants and where they're located on Front Range. So with the university being closed, how are you all servicing right now your clients? Is it all virtually? Are you going to their places of business? Or do you foresee that now that there have been that transition into gradually reopening, that you're able to convene in one specific place?
The lion's share is virtual, like this. So providing workshops and webinars virtually and doing our one-to-one consulting virtually. It's starting to shift. So if the client is open to it, we leave it really up to, maintaining safe standards, of course. They can meet one-to-one. So, for example, there's a meeting today at Zoe's with one of our consultants. And so we're moving in that direction. Some of the work that we do, especially our manufacturing clients, requires site visit. Need to walk the floor, see the layout, see the machines, the workflow, et cetera. So that process we're actually opening back up again, and because that's really a necessity for us to be able to really help specifically the clients.
And are we finding that some of our clients, so Zoe's is an example, they've been clients of yours for years. Is it generally a one-time support that you provide to businesses? Is it more continual? And then the secondary question to that is, if it is more continual, can you share data points as far as how many businesses you all are currently serving or have helped over this time or since your tenure, whichever benchmark works best?
Sure. We generally see a little over 400 clients a year. Between March and April, our numbers shot up over, nearly doubled, as you can imagine. We were highly publicized by the SBA as being the point of contact for processing those loans. So, overnight we became SBA loan officers in a way. I'm speaking, of course, as a joke, but really we had to get our head into the loan processing piece of it. And of course the banks handled the PPPs, but we were really there to help process the, with the applications for the EIDL loans. So, but generally we hover, between 400 and 500 clients a year. And it's really up to the client. We have lifelong clients like Zoe's, and we've really gone through the different growth processes. Sometimes a client just needs to know how to incorporate, and they need help with the application. And so it's, more of a one-time consultation. So we really leave it up to the client, but encourage. Our door is always open. It's free. We have a lot of resources. If we can't answer those questions, we'll find someone who can. So in a way, we're a resource center as much as a direct consultant.
And I took that with a grain of, salt and humor, but it was absolutely accurate. I mean, people were turning to our organizations for the direction. So you did have to end up reading up as if you were the one that was able to support them all the way through, because they weren't wanting that small piece of information. They were wanting that big picture. So I know we just touched a little bit about the PPP and the IDL program. You are having me parlay into a whole lot of things without knowing, FYI. But we just posted a new loan forgiveness, kind of a guidebook to help businesses understand that. And this was in a partnership from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, where we actively work together. That information was released in our digest this morning and is getting placed on that COVID resource hub page. If you're not getting emails, DM us so that I can add you to that. And if you just want us to post a link, we can do that as well here in the comment section of this broadcast. So before I wind down, does anyone have any additional questions or comments, please post that for me so that we can direct them over to Angela. Angela, I know that you guys have had a lot of changes. Every organization goes through that. You are a newer director into your role. I say new, but honestly, you've probably been there for, I want to say, at least 6 months, but I might be off. So whenever, with coming in new, we see things, we want to change things up. We also have things that we have to refill or replenish. That also includes the people that are running our organizations or helping us achieve our mission. So are people only working with you? I know there's consultants that generally help you, and these consultants can be people that are generally seasoned, have expertise in some line of business, etc. But staff-wise, from your organization standpoint, are there additional points of contact within the SBDC?
Yeah, so I do. Yeah, so rebuilding a team and building a team was part of coming on new. I did start in November. My background is in consulting. I did own a toy store when I was raising my kids, so I had a brick and mortar storefront. So I know retail and the challenges therein and the joys of having my own small business as well as my consulting practice. Yes, we have an array. If you go to North Metro SBDC, we have an array of consultants with areas of specialization. Legal, we have a couple of attorneys on staff as consultants. We have marketing, like Peter Brissett. We have general consultants who have more of the breadth of knowledge of all areas of business. We have manufacturing, we have accountants and CPAs. So Lauren Metz, who just posted, is one of our accounting and CPA consultants. So yeah, and like I said before, if we don't have the in-house expertise to help you, we will find someone who can support your needs.
Absolutely, and thank you. I had no idea about Lauren. Kudos to her for getting plugged in. We've included the website link for you in the comment section. That's North Metro SBDC. I would direct you to go over there, peruse the resources that they have and kind of what they're doing during this time. And in general, they are one of our key partners in the community. And it's exactly what Angela was sharing. If one of us doesn't have the answer, we really try and work together to get you taken care of. And it's that funnel that we know that as a business, you need all the support. Angela's got that business experience. I also have it as well. If we were where we were whenever we were in business and had the support, we're like, holy moly, where was all that, right? And so now that we know this, we're like, this is a treasure, and we want to share it out to our businesses and let you guys know that this is available. To that end, I know people always ask, is there costs to things, or events costing, webinars, consulting? What does the structure of that look like?
Well, great news is that they're free. So our consulting is free, no cost. We take very seriously our confidentiality agreements with our clients, and we will never release a name. And I should mention that Judy and Vaughn, of course, said, yes, of course, you can use our name. But we just ask that it's a brief intake form. We gather baseline data, and we, have confidentiality agreements. And then you're a client of SBDC's around the country. So I should emphasize that this is not just Adams County or Colorado; it's around the country. And then our workshops right now in webinar format are free. So check out our website. We've got programs every week and available. It's a quick sign up. So
Easy. Well, thank you so much, Angela, and I'm glad that Judy and Fawn were fine with it. They know us pretty well. It looks like we had a comment. They've done a lot over the years. Great to see that they're coming back, especially during this difficult time. And at one point, they were one of our small businesses of the year. So you could not have picked a better story to highlight for sure. So if you're just now tuning in, which I see Roble and a few others of you that have popped on, we have with us Angela from the North Metro SBDC. They are I want to say a network that's not only here in Westminster, they're across Colorado and really nationwide, generally housed over at Front Range with everything going on. They've been doing everything almost virtually and meeting as necessary with their clients. Angela did take the time to highlight one success story with us, and really she was the kickoff to the series of being able to highlight some businesses in our community that have been successful, things that they've done. We really want that peer support so you guys understand how some businesses are functioning. Maybe there's duplication that you can do, something that you can take and implement in your line of work. Maybe you can get your questions answered by hearing those stories. That's the primary purpose behind it. So if you know of a success that we should highlight, let me know. Angela did take the time to also share that all of their webinars, some of the things that they're developing, like their programs that they'll be doing quarterly, marketing series, the childcare, which is absolutely spot on. People need that support for us to be able to continue commerce and continue going to work and having that income that they need to survive. So we touched on a lot of programs. Most of the elements of the conversation from today were actually input into the comment section for anyone that watches this on replay. If you do watch this video on replay, give us that hashtag replay so I know that you found this of value. Or if later on you're sitting and you're like, oh, shoot, I really wanted to ask Angela this question, or this is what came to mind after replaying it, go ahead and type that question in. We are actively looking at those questions and give you a response. Or if it's something more private, we also will take that DM that you guys have shared with us. We maintain, I know Angela shared the confidentiality is huge through their SBDC network. I always say I mama bear everything through the chamber, so that's why I won't push out people's emails to other folks. You know, I ask before I do something related to that. Similarly, if you share something with me through a DM, I won't go out and broadcast unless you want me to specifically mention you to address that comment or concern that you have. So I'm happy that we had a chance to visit together. We've only been able to connect a couple of times, but I'm excited to see the rebuilding that's going on, some of the things that are going on. So when we can meet in person, Angela, we're going to delve together and really get both of our organizations to be working hand in hand. I've got ideas for this if you can't tell. Before I let you go though, I always like to do a plug on the upcoming things that we have. We mentioned Front Range a couple of times because the SBDC is generally housed there. We actually will have Andy Dorsey and Kathy over with us here on a broadcast at 11 o'clock on Friday. So we'll be talking about Front Range. What does this look like for them in the future? How they've been able to handle and transition. Tomorrow, our broadcast is a town hall. So as you're aware, our town halls are generally in the afternoon. So that'll be at 4 p.m. This town hall really expounds on transportation. That's been one of the topics, believe it or not. People are still asking about it so much right now. So we've had two broadcasts where we've brought in commuting solutions. We had RTD and Dr. Cog. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., we have with us Smart Commute, and we also have CDOT, a CDOT representative. So we'll have both of them for an hour block from 4 to 5. Bring your transportation, transit, public transportation questions that you might have to that broadcast and learn more about that. And then before I let us go, a small preview about next week. We will have Walmart with us. So Walmart, as you all are aware, they're all over here in Westminster. We at least have two that are in our community, and the one that's here on our Sheridan and 92nd Crossroad is taking the time to hop on with us. They've implemented so many things in their business. They've had to because they were kind of one of those essential that's been around for longer than some of our small businesses that are able to open back up. So what we really want to do with that broadcast is have them share what exactly they've done, how that's been received by customers, and have that be a benchmark for you all. We get a lot of questions from small businesses on, you know, what should I do as it relates to this? How do I handle with the customer dynamic that might be there, some ideas. And so really that's what that broadcast is for. So tune in with us next week to catch Walmart, but come back with us tomorrow at 4 for transit, and then Friday at 11 a.m. for Front Range Community College. Thank you so much, Angela, for being with me, for hearing me kind of just, go all over and string you along with me. But I totally appreciate it. And for everyone that's hopped on, Elizabeth Price, thank you for hopping on. Our counselors that are with us and our board members, thank you all for taking the time out of your day for these broadcasts. Really, the energy is fed from our surveys, our feedback that we're hearing, and then the continual interaction that we have on these live streams. So have a terrific morning, Angela. Thank you to everyone that's on here.
Thank you.